San Antonio Spurs have opened this season in a way that not even their greatest teams ever did. A young squad, still built mostly around rookie-scale contracts, just pulled off something the David Robinson teams of the 90s couldn't do. Something even the dynasty of Duncan, Parker, and Ginobili never managed. They started 5-0. Perfect. Clean sweep. And yeah, it's early, but that alone says a lot. No Spurs team before, not the Admiral era, not the beautiful game Spurs, not the late Big Three with the tree-planting nephew worth $50 million, ever started this hot. But what's really fascinating isn't just that they're winning. It's how they're doing it, and how completely they've done it. San Antonio currently ranks in the top 5 of pretty much every meaningful statistical category. They lead the league in net rating, which basically means they're beating teams by the biggest average margin out there. 5 games in, and the Spurs have already stacked enough highlights to fill another team's entire season reel. Just look at what's happened so far. They embarrassed Anthony Davis on opening night against Dallas. Then came the Zion versus Wemby showdown, where a leaner Zion started the game by dunking on Wemby, only to get blocked 7 times afterward. There was the Brooklyn game, a 20-point night from Dylan Harper, and a complete demolition on the boards. Then the first home win against Toronto, and a test against the new turbocharged Miami Heat, who, despite their fresh up-tempo style, still couldn't figure these Spurs out. This young squad might actually be too good for their own narrative. Because the better they look, the louder one question keeps coming up. Do they even need De'Aaron Fox? The Spurs all-star point guard hasn't suited up yet this season. He's still rehabbing and working back into full form, and clearly the team isn't missing a beat without him. In fact, the young backcourt, Harper and Stephon Castle, looks more confident every single game. Both of them are on rookie deals, cheap, efficient, and hungry. Meanwhile, Fox is not only the highest paid player on the roster, but his new max extension hasn't even kicked in yet. So naturally, Spurs fans have split into 2 camps. Some can't wait for Fox to return and unlock the next level. Others, and this is where it gets wild, actually fear that bringing him back might mess with the balance that's working so well right now. He'll take touches, take minutes, maybe change the energy. Even the talking heads have jumped on the train. You've got national analysts and podcast hosts already pitching trades, arguing that Fox might be traded.
I don't need no more guards. I got these young guards I want to build around. So now I just need somebody out there that could kind of like protect Wemby a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? I think Fox can be that piece in a trade to say, hey, let's go out east and see who needs a point guard right now.
But you know what? That's a good problem to have. If people are debating whether your all-star point guard even fits your system, that usually means your roster's in a really good place. Because let's be honest, 2 years ago, this team looked nothing like this. Go back to 2023. Wembanyama's rookie year. The Spurs were running out lineups with Trey Jones, Devontae Graham, Malachi Branham, and Blake Wesley as their guards. None of them are even on the team anymore. And let's not forget the infamous Point Sohan experiment. Something that still haunts Spurs fans in their sleep. If you had told any Spurs fan back then that, in just 2 years, their backcourt would feature an established all-star plus 2 5-star prospects, and that people would call that a problem, that fan would have looked at you like you'd lost your mind. So, no, De'Aaron Fox isn't a problem. He's the opposite. He's the kind of problem every contending team wishes it had. The real question is, what exactly can Fox add to this version of the Spurs? What weaknesses could he actually fix once he's back in uniform? First thing, flexibility. Lineup flexibility, rotation flexibility, playstyle flexibility. I've done the math, and it checks out. 3 elite guards are, in fact, better than 2. Mitch Johnson doesn't need to run them all at once, but he can rotate them to keep constant pressure on defenses. The idea is simple. Make sure that for every one of the 48 minutes, at least 2 of Castle, Harper, and Fox are on the floor. That way, no possession ever feels like a breather for the opponent. Constant drives, constant rim attacks, wave after wave of offense. Imagine being an opposing point guard. You've just spent 4 exhausting minutes chasing around Fox and Castle, and you finally see Castle head to the bench. You think, great, I can breathe for a second. And then here comes Dylan Harper. Fresh legs, just as aggressive, immediately putting you in a blender again. That's the kind of stress you can't coach your way out of. And it's not just about having more talent, it's about having the right kind of talent. Because if we're being honest, even during these 5 wins, the Spurs haven't really controlled games from start to finish. There are still stretches where the offense just stops clicking. The team goes cold for a few minutes, the rhythm dies, and suddenly the opponent is back in it. Take a look at the tape. Against the Pelicans, they were up comfortably, but 19 turnovers and a few rough ones from Castle turned it into an overtime grind. The Brooklyn game, Spurs up 26, then somehow down 5 before recovering. Against Toronto, a 22-point lead shrank to single digits, and it took a few superhero moments from Wembanyama to close it out. Even against Miami, a game that felt controlled the whole way, still came down to execution in the final minutes. That's where Fox becomes invaluable. Victor has started the season looking like the league's next great alpha, but even Batman needs a Robin. The Spurs don't really have a true secondary option right now. When Wemby sits or goes cold, the offense tends to wobble. They need a stabilizer, someone who doesn't panic when things tighten, who can get to his spot, draw a foul, hit a mid-range pull-up, or just slow the game down for 30 seconds. That's De'Aaron Fox to a T. People forget how good this guy is. And it's crazy that we even have to remind them. There aren't many players in the league who can single-handedly carry an offense the way Fox can when he's locked in. How many guys in the entire NBA have ever scored over 100 points in a 24-hour span? Fox did. 2 years ago, he became only the second player in the 21st century after Kobe Bryant to pull that off. 109 points across 2 games, dropping 60 on the Timberwolves and 49 on the Jazz within 27 hours. That's not luck. That's a professional scorer at his absolute peak. He's been that guy before. The guy who wins you games when everything else stops working. Remember, Fox won the NBA's Clutch Player of the Year award 2 seasons ago for a reason. He's seen every kind of defensive scheme, every late-game trap, and he's handled all of it with composure. Maybe he's not the kind of player who can anchor a title contender as the #1 option, but as the second? Next to Wemby, that's near perfect. And the best part, we haven't even really seen what that duo can do together yet. Last year, they only shared the court for 5 games, and both were playing hurt. Wemby was secretly dealing with a blood clot issue that nobody knew about until later, and Fox was battling that thumb injury that wrecked his shooting rhythm for months. Now, though, this is a different Wembanyama, Wemby 2.0. He's physically stronger, mentally sharper, and clearly more comfortable as the face of the franchise. What he needs now is a running mate who understands pace, who can command a game when the young guys get jittery, and who can shift gears instantly when things slow down. Fox checks every one of those boxes. And soon, maybe even in the next game against Phoenix, we'll finally get to see that combination in full. A healthy Fox, a fully unleashed Wemby, and a group of fearless young guys around them who don't seem to care who they're playing against. Because if this 5-0 start has shown us anything, it's that San Antonio's rebuild isn't some slow, patient process anymore. It's already here. And De'Aaron Fox, he's not a threat to that. He's the next piece of it. Go Spurs, go!